So, class 10th, if I'm going to give you a choice between two spoons, a steel spoon and a wooden spoon to stir your hot tea, which one will you choose? Just think and answer. Most of you are going to answer, ma'am, steel spoon. So, why you are choosing steel spoon over the wooden one? Because the answer is very simple. Steel does not absorbs the moisture, whereas wood does. So after some time, the wood spoon starts smelling bad. So due to which your choice will always be for a steel spoon. Just think of if you want to carry the electricity from a power station towards your houses, which metal will you be choosing and why? Copper metal or iron metal? The copper metal is the perfectly suited metal to carry the electricity. You want to fill up your birthday balloons, and which gas will you opt for? Oxygen gas or helium gas? The helium gas. Why the choices are different in different situations? As I always say, chemistry is not only in your books, chemistry is all around you, in your kitchens, even in your bathrooms, in your birthdays. When you want to pop up that birthday balloon, whenever you see a balloon flying high, that's because of the helium gas, because that is the lightest gas which is there. If a farmer want to make a fertilizer, right, which metal or non-metal will he be choosing? Of course, nitrogen, that's a non-metal, right, children? If your mama wants to go for a jewelry choice, why the jeweler choose gold, not the copper to make jewelry? Because of its luster. So different elements have different properties which are suitable in different life situations. So class 10, today we are going to begin with a new chapter, that is metals and non-metals, in which we are going to explore so many metals and properties. We are going to understand their nature and behavior, and we'll also be learning where this nature is useful in our day-to-day life. The chapter seems to be very interesting. हम इस chapter को 2-3 parts में divide करेंगे. First, we learning about the physical properties of metals and non-metals, moving towards the chemical properties, and then we'll be learning about the bonding, followed by the extraction of the metals. How do these metals got extracted? Now, let's start with the chapter in which we will learn about elements. अब elements क्या होते हैं बच्चे? Elements are the substances which cannot be split into two or more simpler substances. एलिमेंट्स एक ऐसे सब्सटेंसेस होते हैं जिनको आप सिंपल सब्सटेंसेस में कन्वर्ट नहीं कर सकते हो, स्प्लिट नहीं कर सकते हो, इवन बाय अप्लाइंग हीट, लाइट और इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी. So elements are majorly categorized into three subcategories: metals, non-metals, and metalloids. And do you know, children, so far 118 elements have been identified. And out of 118 elements, 94 elements are occurring naturally over the earth, and rest 24 elements are the synthetic elements. Synthetic elements simply means the elements which are formed by humans, right? These are artificially prepared. So in the list of 118 elements, we have 93 metals with us, we have 18 non-metals with us, and 7 metalloids. So these are the elements in which we categorize depending upon their certain behavior. अब वो behavior क्या है? What are those properties on which we categorize the elements into metals, non-metals, and metalloids? Metalloids are somewhere lying between the metals and the non-metals, right? So metals show certain behavior which non-metals absolutely does not show, whereas metalloid shows some of the behavior of metals and some behavior of non-metals. Let us understand the properties on which we categorize our metals, non-metals, and metalloids. Right? So first, before going ahead, we should understand their basic nature. Right? कुछ कुछ आप 9th grade में पढ़ के आए हैं, उससे मैं आपको connect कर रही हूँ within this topic. So we are majorly categorizing our elements into two subcategories, metals and non-metals. Metalloids को भी हम इस category से बाहर रखेंगे. Right? Metals are also known as electropositive elements. as non-metals are electronegative elements. अब electropositive क्या होता है और electronegative क्या होता है? Let us understand this. Electropositive behavior is shown by metals because metals has the tendency to donate the electrons, and electronegative behavior is shown by the non-metals because non-metals have the tendency to accept the electrons. So just for your recap, the elements having one, two, or three electrons in their valence shell, they donate electrons, right? And the elements having four valence electrons, they share their electrons and undergoes covalent bonding. And the elements having five, six, or seven valence electrons, they accept or gain the electrons, children, right? So the elements having one, two, three electrons, which are donating electrons, are usually metals, right? And elements having four electrons, they are sharing, they are not donating, they are not accepting, they are sharing electrons. So they are semi-metals, or we also call them metalloids. Right, children? And the elements accepting the electrons are said to be non-metals. इन्हें हम क्या बोलते हैं बेटा? We call them non-metals. Now, please understand, certain metals, yes, the metals accept the electrons. So it takes energy to metals. So sorry, metals donate the electrons, whereas non-metals accept the electrons. So in order to donate the electrons, metal has to release lot of energy. So they require energy to accept or to donate the electrons, right? Energy for the metal to donate electrons, and at the same time it takes energy for the non-metals to accept the electrons, right, children? So the metal with one valence electron will be more electropositive than the metal with three valence electrons. Why? Because it is easier to donate one electron rather than donating three. So even in the category of metals, some metals are more electropositive and some metals are less electropositive. Right. Similarly, for the non-metals, it is easier for the non-metal to accept the five electrons rather than accepting the seven electrons altogether. So that makes them electropositive and that makes them electronegative. So yes, if I compare, right, if I'm comparing lithium, sodium, and potassium, children, right? So lithium is 21 KNL, sodium is 281, and potassium is 2881. So can you see the valence shell of lithium is much more closer to the nucleus as compared to the valence shell of potassium. So nucleus has lot of positive charge in it. So it becomes little difficult for the lithium to release or donate its one electron. Whereas comparatively, it is easier for the sodium atom to release its one valence electron because it is little far away from the nucleus. At the same time, if you look at the potassium valence electron is lying in N shell, and N shell is comparatively very far as compared to sodium and lithium. So it is most easy among the three metals for the sodium to donate the one electron which is present in its valence shell. So that makes them different in their electropositive behavior. At the same time, when you look at fluorine and chlorine, right, children? Fluorine has 27 and chlorine has 287, right? So among those, which one is more electropositive negative and which one is more electronegative? इन दोनों में से कौन सा ज्यादा इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिव है, जो जल्दी एक्सेप्ट कर लेगा, राइट, और नेगेटिव आयंस बना लेगा? तो एक्सेप्टेंस किस में जल्दी आएगी? फ्लोरीन में आएगी, बिकॉज फ्लोरीन का जो वैलेंस शेल है वो न्यूक्लियस के नियर है, एंड न्यूक्लियस हैज लॉट ऑफ पॉजिटिव चार्ज हैव द टेंडेंसी टू अट्रैक्ट द नेगेटिव चार्ज. तो वो इलेक्ट्रॉन आ रहा है और फटाफट से उसने एक्सेप्ट कर लिया. comparatively to chlorine. So fluorine is a more electronegative element as compared to chlorine, children. So electropositive elements forms the positive ions and electronegative elements form the negative ions. So always metals are shows electropositive behavior, and because they have the tendency to donate electrons, whereas non-metal shows the electronegative behavior because they have the tendency to accept the electrons, thus forming the negative ions. Now moving ahead towards the physical properties with which we can categorize our metals and non-metals, right? So we will understand each one of the property one by one. Now, what is the first property talks about malleability. Malleability simply means when you're beating up a metal with a hammer, the metal turns into a thin sheets. For example, aluminium foil, right? For example, your copper plate, your copper coins, so ये क्या है? Thin sheets हैं. So these metals shows the property of malleability. What does it show? It shows the property of malleability, right, children? But yes, at the same time, the exceptions also exist. Let us talk about potassium. Let us talk about sodium. These are the soft metals. They do not show malleability. ये metals क्या नहीं दिखाते हैं? ये metals malleability नहीं दिखाते हैं. When you talk about the second property, which is ductility. अब अगर हम ductility की बात कर रहे हैं, so ductility simply means when you're stretching up, upon melting, you're stretching up the metal, you can convert the metal into thin sheets, right, children? So thin wires. So उन वायर्स को हम क्या बोलते हैं? We call the metal to be ductile. हम उस मेटल को क्या बोल रहे हैं? हम उस मेटल को ductile बोल रहे हैं, right children? For example, copper is the metal which shows ductility because इसी वजह से this is the reason that copper are used to make the electric wires. One, it is a good conductor of electricity. Second, it shows the property of ductility. So we are choosing the copper metal to form the electric wires. Whereas non-metals does not show malleability, they also do not show the ductility. But when you talk about thermal conductivity, right? Thermal conductivity means allowing the heat to pass through the substance, right? Thermal word का मतलब होता है heat, conduction का मतलब होता है movement. So जब movement of heat जिन substances में से हो पाता है, we call those substances to be the thermal conductors. So metals are the thermal conductors, whereas non-metals are not the thermal conductors. For example, mercury is a metal which is the poorest conductor of heat, right? So exception भी है जहां बहुत सारे metals ये show करते हैं, they give the property of malleability, they show the property of ductility, also the thermal conductivity, but the exceptions also exist. तो आपको exceptions में ध्यान रखना है, malleability और ductility के लिए exceptions आपके sodium और potassium metal है, whereas if you talk about the thermal conductivity, yes, exception metal is your mercury, which is symbolized by Hg. Now, if I'm talking about electrical conductivity, I told you just go by word. Conduction means the movement and electrical conductivity means the movement of electrons or the movement of electric current. So the substances which allow the electric current to pass through them, ठीक है, वो substances जो electric current को pass होने देते हैं, ऐसे substances को हम क्या बोलते हैं? Electrical conductors. और जो metals होते हैं, those are electrical conductors, whereas non-metals does not show up the conductivity except the graphite, right? Graphite is an allotrope of carbon. It shows electrical conductivity even it is used as a dry electron. Right, it is used as a dry electrolyte. So here children, what we have noticed, these all are the properties that we are talking about are shown by the metals, but the known metals do not show up, right? With the exceptions, again and again I'm pointing out. So the first one is malleability, the second one we talked about ductility, third one we talked about the thermal conduction, that means the conduction of heat, fourth one is the electrical conductivity, conduction of electric current. Luster means having a shiny surface. right? Most of the metals are shiny in appearance, like when in your newly formed aluminium is shiny, your silver is shiny until it get oxidized, your gold is also shiny. So that is why I asked you ki why in the beginning of my class, I have asked you people that why the jewelers choose gold to make the jewelry. One very important thing first, it is lustrous, it is shiny. So it is used to embrace the beauty of a person. So its shiny and its luster appearance help to do so. Second, it shows the property of malleability and it also shows the property of ductility. So अगर आप gold ornaments देखते हैं तो उसमें wires का भी use होता है, sheets का भी use होता है. That is why we are able to articulate lot of design on the jewelry. So it shows malleability, it shows ductility, it is lustrous. So these properties makes it completely fit to make the jewelry. Now we talk about sonority, that is the metals are sonorous. So on beaten up they produce sound. So do you think about your, just think of your iron bell which your security guard rung every day during the dispersal of your schools. So it is an iron bell, and those things, the substances which produces sound upon beating up are said to be sonorous. ऐसे substances को हम क्या बोलते हैं, ऐसे elements को हम क्या बोलते हैं, sonorous. So metals produces sound, whereas non-metals does not produce sound. When you talk about strength, so specifically here we are talking about tensile strength, children. You can also make a note of it. When I'm talking of tensile strength, that means I'm talking about the capability to hold the weights, right? So when you think, so a lot of tensile strength is there in the woody branches of the trees. जैसे हम झूल के लटक भी लेते हैं, right? We can ride over them, right? We can hang over them. So why? Because they have lot of tensile strength. जितने भी bridges हैं, just think of a bridges. What do we put into the bridges to give them strength so that more it can hold more amount of weight? That is iron, because it makes it hard. It makes it sturdy. It gives it a life. It gives it a very good life, right? So when you're talking of tensile strength, children, it is a capability to hold the larger weights, right? When we are talking about melting and boiling point, so जो metals होते हैं, they are hard, they have good tensile strength, right? And the hardness takes lot of heat energy to split, right? So they always have high melting or boiling point, right? So जो आपके what do we say, the metals have usually have high melting and boiling point, whereas non-metals have low melting and boiling point. When you're talking of density, what is density? Density को अगर हम बिल्कुल layman language में समझें तो density talks about the heaviness, and heaviness is always defined with respect to the volume. The quantity of matter present per unit volume talks about the density, right? When we talk about metals, metals have high density, whereas non-metals have low density, because non-metals जैसे आपका सल्फर है, ये तो पाउडर्ड फॉर्म में है, तो ये they are less denser, they are comparatively less denser, they are lighter in weight. Right, children? So here altogether, I have focused upon 9 major properties which categorize your elements into metals and non-metals. So these all properties are shown by the metals, but these all properties are not shown by non-metal exceptions, right? Few elements. Like for example, I said कि non-metals are not electrical conductors, whereas your graphite is an electrical conductor, right? Non-metals are not hard. Diamond is a non-metal. It is an allotrope of carbon, and carbon is a non-metal, children. So diamond is the hardest known substance. So यहाँ पे हमने कुछ exceptions की बात की है, and make sure you're learning the exceptions well. Right? By the end of this video, I will give you a chart which talks about the exception. You can take a screenshot and learn it well. Now we'll start with the chemical properties of metals, right? When we are talking of chemical properties of metal, the very first property we are going to learn. Now, before we move ahead, I want to tell you why we are studying this, right? हम ये पढ़ क्यों रहे हैं? What is the purpose? By learning the reactions of metal with oxygen, we will try to understand the behavior of metals. We'll try to understand the reactivity of metal. In chapter 1 chemistry, you have learned using mnemonics that reactivity of the metals, right? But here you will deep dive into the concept and you will see their reaction with the oxygen, and the intensity of the reaction defines the reactive behavior of a metal, right? So let's start one by one. The first metal, right? First, we have to understand the skeletal equation, the basic equation. When the metals burned in air or when they react with oxygen, they always form metal oxide, and metal oxides are basic in nature. ये भी मैं आपको समझाऊंगी कि मैं ऐसा क्यों बोल रही हूँ. Because when further metal oxides are reacted with water and we form an aqueous solution, they form a corresponding hydroxide. And metal hydroxides are alkalis, they are basic in nature. ये हमने chapter 2 में बहुत अच्छे से समझा है. So we are doing a first reaction in which we have taken a sodium metal. Sodium metal is a highly reactive metal. So this reaction takes place at a room temperature itself. If you bring a sodium metal, so you all know sodium metal being highly reactive, we store it under a kerosene oil, because if you bring it outside, it will catch the fire. Right? So sodium metal, upon reacting with oxygen, it forms sodium hydroxide, which is basic in nature. अब मैं ऐसा क्यों बोल रही हूँ कि sodium oxide basic है? Why? Because sodium oxide when reacts with water, it forms the corresponding hydroxide. आप चाहे ionize करके देख लो. So जब आप ionize करेंगे तो it will form Na plus O2 minus, and this water always dissociate into H plus and OH minus. Right? So the rearrangement takes place, it will form sodium hydroxide, and aqueous solution, it is forming in a water itself. So O2 minus and H plus, the combination of two will always form the water. So sodium hydroxide is a strong alkali here. Whenever we are reacting a metal with oxygen, it forms a metallic oxide, and metallic oxide कैसा होता है? It is basic in nature, right? अब आप इसमें ध्यान रखेंगे कि सोडियम मेटल को जब आप रिएक्ट कर रहे थे तो आपको कोई भी एक्सटर्नल सोर्स ऑफ हीट नहीं देना पड़ा. द रिएक्शन टुक प्लेस एट रूम टेम्परेचर. ये रिएक्शन कहाँ हो जा रही है? ये रिएक्शन रूम टेम्परेचर पे हो जा रही है. नाउ मूविंग अहेड एंड लेट्स सी हाउ मैग्नीशियम इज बिहेविंग. सो यू नो द बिहेवियर ऑफ मैग्नीशियम वेरी वेल, बिकॉज यू हैव डन दैट मैग्नीशियम ribbon activity in your first chapter, chemistry. So magnesium do not react with oxygen at room temperature. Clearly written. Magnesium do not react with oxygen at room temperature. You have to burn it, right? So whenever we are burning a metal, magnesium with oxygen, it form a magnesium oxide, which is a white color powder, and it burns with a dazzling flame. You already know this. And this white color powder, when it is dissolved in water, it forms an corresponding hydroxide, which is a magnesium hydroxide, right? And this is sparingly or partially soluble in water. अब ये जो magnesium hydroxide है, ये partially soluble है water में, and this is also used to cure the indigestion. तो अब आपने सोडियम से मैग्नीशियम की जर्नी में क्या देखा? सोडियम को कोई एक्सटर्नल सोर्स ऑफ हीट की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं था, इसीलिए हम बोल रहे हैं कि वो बहुत रिएक्टिव है. उसको आपको कोई भी एक्सटर्नल फॉर्म ऑफ एनर्जी नहीं देना पड़ा. बट व्हेन वी आर वर्किंग ऑन मैग्नीशियम, मैग्नीशियम डज नॉट बर्न ऑन इट्स ओन व्हेन यू आर गेटिंग इट इनटू द एक्सटर्नल एनवायरनमेंट, व्हेन यू ब्रिंग इट आउटसाइड. सो इट हैज टू react with oxygen. It can only react with oxygen upon burning, right? And they form the basic oxide. Why? Because when you dissolve magnesium oxide powder into the water, it forms an aqueous solution of magnesium hydroxide, which also helps to cure the indigestion because it is a weak base. Metal oxides are always basic oxides and it forms a weak base, so that is also used to cure the indigestion. कुछ कुछ चीजें हम हमेशा याद रखेंगे 10th ग्रेडर, क्योंकि क्वेश्चन कभी भी डायरेक्ट नहीं आता. क्वेश्चन अप्लाइड फॉर्म में आता है कि आपने जो सीखा है, जो आपने लर्न किया है, प्रिपेयर किया है, वो आप कितने अच्छे से अप्लाई कर पा रहे हैं. नाउ मूविंग अहेड टुवर्ड्स द एल्यूमिनियम मेटल. So aluminium metal also has to burn in air, right? And then it forms the aluminum oxide. But yes, there is something very special about aluminum oxide. It shows the dual nature. What do you mean by dual nature? Means ये दोनों साइड पे चला जाएगा, right? It can show the basic behavior as well as it can show the acidic behavior. अब एल्यूमिनियम मेटल दोनों काम कर सकता है, but when it will show acidic behavior and when it will show basic behavior. आपने कमेलियंस को देखा है, वो जहां जाते हैं उस रंग बदल लेते हैं. सिमिलरली आप इसको कमेलियन की तरह आप समझो. एम्फोटेरिक ऑक्साइड जब बेस के सामने आएगा तो वो एक एसिड के साथ बिहेव करने लगेगा. एम्फोटेरिक ऑक्साइड जब एक एसिड के साथ रिएक्ट करेगा then it will behave as a base. So amphoteric oxides are such oxides which can which can behave as an acidic oxides as well as the basic oxides. Right, children? So when aluminium metal is burned in oxygen, that means when it undergoes the combustion process, what does it form? It forms the aluminium oxide. और aluminium oxide कैसा oxide होता है? ये एक amphoteric oxide होता है बच्चा. मतलब ये एक acidic behavior भी show करेगा और ये एक basic behavior भी show करेगा. चलो अब इसके दोनों behavior check कर लेते हैं. So we have aluminium oxide. Here it is behaving as a basic oxide. क्यों? Because here aluminium oxide is reacting with HCl. अब आगे product side पे I don't want anyone to jump. I want everyone to understand and then make the products on their own. Al3 plus O2 minus and this is a acid H plus Cl minus. अब आप खुद से खुद बता सकते हैं rearrangement will takes place and it will form AlCl3 which is aluminium chloride and H plus and O2 minus this will form water. So what is it? Can we call it a neutralization reaction? Yes, of course, because यहाँ पे जब aluminium oxide ने acid के साथ react किया, it started behaving as a base, children, and reaction between an acid and base thus forming salt and water. We very well know that such kind of reactions are known as neutralization reaction. तो आप देख रहे हैं जैसे जैसे आप अपने सिलेबस में आगे बढ़ते जा रहे हैं तो आप कनेक्ट कर रहे हैं. You are able to connect your previous chapter with the later chapters. आपने न्यूट्रलाइजेशन चैप्टर 2 में पढ़ा तो इट इज नॉट ओनली कन्फाइंड टुवर्ड्स चैप्टर 2, राइट. न्यूट्रलाइजेशन आप चैप्टर 3 में भी पढ़ेंगे, आप आगे भी पढ़ते रहेंगे. एंड नेक्स्ट, aluminum oxide is behaving as an acidic oxide. So now you know the amphoteric behavior कि वो एकदम से अपना जो रोल है वो स्विच कर लेता है. When you reacted with the base, so sodium hydroxide is a base, and when you are reacting aluminum oxide with a base, it will act as an acid. ये किसके जैसे behave करेगा? Acid के जैसे behave करेगा, and again forming salt and water. So here, children, a new product is formed which is known as sodium aluminate. राइट, क्या कौन सा सॉल्ट बन रहा है यहाँ पे? सोडियम एल्यूमिनेट, राइट. बिकॉज ये स्ट्रॉन्ग बेस है तो वो पूरी तरह डिसोसिएट नहीं होगा और वो क्या बना देगा? एक कॉम्प्लेक्स, एक कंपाउंड आयन के साथ वो सॉल्ट बना देगा. दैट इज सोडियम एल्यूमिनेट एंड वाटर इज फॉर्म. यस, दिस इज ऑल्सो अ न्यूट्रलाइजेशन रिएक्शन. डू वी हैव ओनली एल्यूमिनियम ऑक्साइड बिहेविंग एज एम्फोटेरिक ऑक्साइड? एब्सोल्युटली नॉट. यू हैव two examples in your book. One is aluminum oxide and the other one is zinc oxide. Only two examples that you have to prepare for your exams. Be very careful क्योंकि amphoteric oxide के ऊपर जरूर question आता है. Now, when we are talking of zinc, children, zinc also burns in air upon strong heating. तो आपने क्या देखा? हमने सोडियम देखा, it reacts upon its own at the room temperature. Magnesium require little burning, right? Even aluminium also require heating to form its corresponding oxide. So what is it showing? It is showing that when heat is required, so it requires heat, so its reactivity is comparatively less. अब जिंक के केस में आप क्या देख रहे हो? जिंक के केस में we are having strong heating over here. So strong heating मतलब you need to give more amount of heat energy to form its corresponding oxide. अब जिंक ऑक्साइड भी एक एम्फोटेरिक ऑक्साइड है, ये बेसिक भी है और ये एसिडिक भी है. दैट मीन्स it can react with an acid. When it will react with an acid, it will show the basic behavior. When it will react with the base, it will show the acidic behavior. अब आप यहाँ पे क्या समझ रहे हैं? मैं एल्यूमिनियम को सिर्फ हीट किया तो हो गया, इसको स्ट्रांगली हीट करना पड़ा. So this is clearly showing that zinc reacts with oxygen less easily than aluminium because you need to give more amount of heat energy. So we can conclude that zinc is less reactive than aluminium. So in reactivity सीरीज, इनका पर्पस समझो, सिर्फ रिएक्शन इसके साथ ये हो रहा है, इसमें ये मिक्स करें, कंबाइन करेंगे तो ये बन जाएगा, सिर्फ इतना नहीं पढ़ना, आपको इसे एक्सटेंड कर, आपको इसे आगे चल के पढ़ना है. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द क्रक्स. हम ये रिएक्शंस क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं, हम इसको पढ़ रहे हैं जस्ट बिकॉज वी नीड टू नो द रिएक्टिव बिहेवियर ऑफ द मेटल्स in different conditions. Now here children, zinc oxide is behaving as a basic oxide. So यहाँ पे हमने क्या लिया है, zinc oxide and HCl लिया है. So ये disassociate हो जाएंगे Zn2 plus and O2 माइनस. एंड जब आप HCl की बात करोगे, दैट इज H plus and Cl minus. So you know that rearrangement takes place, so that will form Zn2 plus Cl minus, crossover of valency ZnCl2, H plus and O2 minus, a combination will always form the water. Right children? So here we can see that as when it is reacting with an acid, it behaves as a base and thus forming a salt and water. Now here also children, zinc oxide behaves as a basic oxide. एक बेसिक ऑक्साइड के जैसे भी कर रहा है. क्यों? क्योंकि मैंने इसको एक बेस के साथ रिएक्ट करवा दिया और बेस इज अ स्ट्रॉन्ग बेस, सो इट इज गोइंग टू फॉर्म अ सोडियम जिंकेट सॉल्ट एंड वाटर. राइट, वो क्या बना देगा? सोडियम जिंकेट सॉल्ट एंड वाटर. सो ऑल टुगेदर वी हैव स्टडीड टू एम्फोटेरिक ऑक्साइड, वन इज एल्यूमिनियम ऑक्साइड and the second one is zinc oxide. And clearly we can see upon their reaction with oxygen that aluminium requires comparatively less heating to oxidize, whereas zinc requires more heating to oxidize. So this shows that zinc is less reactive than aluminium. Now moving ahead, आगे चलते हैं. Let's talk about iron and copper. So iron does not burn in air even on strong heating, bhai. So iron reacts with oxygen of air on heating to form iron 2 and 3 oxide. Here we need to understand children. Even iron as a piece of metal you cannot take and burn क्योंकि वो तो होगा ही नहीं. To burn the iron you have to take the iron shreddings or the iron fillings, right? So those are very small shreddings of the iron. We are going to burn it strongly by spraying the blue flame over it, and thus it forms what? It forms iron 2,3 oxide, that is also known as ferroferric oxide. इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? फेरिक oxide. Right children? So what is it showing? What is it showing? Your zinc requires strong heating. Your iron, you cannot take a piece of iron, you have to take small shreddings and you have to burn it by spraying a blue flame over it, because blue flame has lot of heat energy, so that forms ferroferric oxide. This is showing that iron is less reactive than zinc than aluminium. अब copper को भी देख लेते हैं. Copper metal does not burn in air even on strong heating. So what you have to do, you have to heat it for long, so it is even heated on upon prolonged heating. अब उसको बहुत, you have to heat it for a longer period of time, then only it will oxidize. So clearly these reaction conditions are showing that copper is less reactive than iron because it requires prolonged heating children, right? So these reactions help us to understand the reactiveness of the metals, right? So copper, when prolonged heated, it forms a black color substance. So यहाँ पे आप change in color भी देख पाते हैं children. The color of the copper is red brown, whereas the color of copper oxide is black in color. Right. But if I talk about gold, if I talk about silver, if I talk about platinum, even if you heat them strongly, even if you heat them for a prolonged period of time, they do not get oxidized. So which makes them least reactive among the list of metals. So these reactions basically helped us to understand the reactive behavior of the metals, right children? So with this, let's move. Is oxidation always good, or it is bad also? So when you talk about the oxidation of iron children, it causes rusting. So oxidation also causes corrosion of certain metals. But yes, for some metals it is not the case, because oxide layers over the metals, they act as a tiny bodyguards of these metals. So here we'll understand, we have metal, right? And when it forms, do you know, we have learned in the activity of magnesium ribbon that it forms a magnesium oxide layer, and that has act as a protective layer because it does not let it undergo combustion. So yes, here the oxide layer acting as a friend, not a foe. So when you talk about aluminium, we have aluminium utensils in our kitchens as well. So when the layer of aluminium get oxidized, aluminium को थोड़ा सा heat चाहिए, right? When your mama use it for a couple of times, and then what happens? It loses its luster or shine. That means it has got the layer of aluminium oxide over it. Thus, that layer is also acting as a friend to aluminium metal because it does not let it undergo corrosion, right? When you talk about zinc metal, अब जिंक मेटल में भी क्या होता है, इट इज फेवरेबल, तभी गैल्वेनाइजेशन किया जाता है, बिकॉज इट प्रिवेंट्स द मेटल from further corrosion. The layer of zinc oxide prevents the metal from further corrosion, and same in the case of lead. So lead oxide layer also act as a protective layer and prevents it from the further corrosion. Right, children? We have finished our topic of reaction of metals with non-metals. In next class, I will be taking reaction of metals with water. That will also help us to validate the fact that certain metals are more reactive, some metals are moderately reactive, whereas some metals are least reactive. So as promised, I am putting up the table which shows you the exceptions. So you can take a screenshot and start practicing which metals shows the exceptions among the properties, like which metals do not show malleability, ductility, thermal conductivity, and so on, children. So this chapter is really important for all of you. Keep learning, keep practicing. Thank you. Bye bye.